Do you feel breathless? Or start sweating sometimes? Maybe your heartbeat elevates and you tremble often. Anxious people are usually the ones with nervous energy and jittery expressions. But that's not the case with high-functioning anxiety. People appear to be perfectly fine to the outside world. In fact, they excel in their field of expertise and go on to achieve many goals in their life. But deep inside, they fight a constant battle against anxiety, despite all the success. Although it isn't a diagnosable mental health condition, that doesn't mean it's not serious. Here are some signs you need to watch out for if you are suffering from this condition. Number 1. Overthinking. People suffering from this disorder often find themselves analyzing every single moment of their life. Constantly sulking over the past and worrying about the future causes you to focus less on the present. You ponder upon past experiences, wondering how you could have handled it in a better way. Something that happened months or even years ago bothers you all the time. And not just that, future outcomes also scare you a lot. So much so that you are afraid to face them at all. Thoughts keep racing your mind, making you feel exhausted. This can be detrimental to your health, both physically and mentally. You might plunge into depression due to this anxiety. Overthinking also clouds your decision-making ability. You always question whether you made the right choice. Number 2. Insomnia. High-functioning anxiety can cause insomnia, a condition which is caused by lack of sleep. The thought of failure haunts them, thus keeping them awake all night. Overthinking is a major cause of insomnia. Thoughts keep circling in their minds that they hardly find a moment's peace. Not getting enough sleep can cause sleepiness and fatigue. While it is a temporary condition, it can get worse over a longer period, causing chronic insomnia. High levels of cortisol, a stress hormone, is found in their body. They become more sensitive to cortisol, that they tend to wake up much faster in comparison to others. This can pose a health risk, as a good night's sleep is very important for mental health. In order to combat insomnia, people take sleeping pills, or resort to alcohol. Number 3. Perfection. Ever met those overachievers? The ones that excel in everything, from academics to extracurricular activities? While it might be a gifted talent, it is also possible that they are obsessed with perfectionism. Anything below that is just not good enough for them. While there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but when you overdo it, that causes problems. These folks set high unachievable standards and will do anything to reach those goals, no matter what. While this might boost your productivity, it can cause a lot of stress, which ultimately might lead to depression. As a result, mental health issues, such as obsessive-compulsive disorder, or OCD, kicks in. We live in a world where nothing is perfect. There's always scope for improvement. And that's why you always have an urge to keep perfecting everything. That exact feeling causes anxiety. Number 4. Overplanning. If you have the tendency to overthink, are highly organized, and a perfectionist, then you probably overplan as well. You work according to a plan of action, and think ahead of time, in order to avoid unpleasant experiences as much as possible. While planning is necessary to achieve your goals, overplanning can be excessive, as you are ignoring the reality. Understand that future events are not in your hands. You can predict the outcome, but you definitely can't control it. Concluding that your plan of action is impeccable is the reason why accepting failure becomes hard to digest. You get all restless when something gets out of control. Stress and anxiety overpower your sense of judgment, which can lead to panic attacks. Amongst this chaos, you miss out on the precious moments of your life. Number 5. Punctuality. Do you feel the compulsive need to be punctual all the time? Does it make you uneasy, even if you get a little late? That's probably because you obsess over punctuality. Whether it's arriving early for an appointment, or completion of work before the deadline, you somehow manage to do it. While this quality is highly valued in the corporate world, it doesn't make any difference in the real world. Because time waits for none. So managing it is a pointless concept. Keep in mind that time management is one thing, and running behind it is another. Constantly figuring out how to live life the most efficient way is not healthy. You will always be frustrated if something goes wrong. Indeed, time is a precious asset. But how you spend it matters the most. Frowning upon the fact that you have wasted your time is in fact where you actually lose time. Number 6. Procrastination. While punctuality is understandable, but procrastination? Yes, that's right. At times, they try to procrastinate as well. When everything needs to be flawless, you spend most of the time working on every tiny little detail. Because perfection does take time. But when things don't work according to your plan, you don't want to do it. And thus, perfection becomes a roadblock in your productivity. It's not the hard work that you are trying to escape, but the failure that comes along the way. Failing to succeed. Failing in perfection. You just can't stand the fact of losing at any cost. That's why you find excuses to postpone until the last minute. Moreover, overthinking, planning, and perfection have already drained most of your energy, that you have hardly any left to do the work. And not just that. Sometimes you are so overburdened by responsibilities that you just can't take it anymore. Number 7. Need to be busy. When was the last time that you relaxed for a while? Probably some days, or even weeks. But there are some people who can't relax for months together. People with high-functioning anxiety often find it difficult to relax. In fact, they rather prefer not to. The reason behind this is quite psychological. They often experience this adrenaline rush through their brain. It's a stress hormone released in response to anxiety. Due to constant worrying, their mind always remains active. To cope up with this, they need to keep themselves busy with something or the other. Or else, they become restless by sitting idle. And it doesn't have to be something productive. It can be anything from mindless scrolling through social media, or binge-watching movies. Their mind just can't keep calm for a second. Number 8. Limited social life. Every once in a while, we like to mingle around with our friends. It refreshes our mind from our busy schedules. While most of us enjoy this time, it's not the case with people having social anxiety. They get all nervous around people, and certainly don't like meeting new folks. Their body language says it all. They get all sweaty, they start trembling, and their heartbeat becomes faster. This is how our body responds in a tense situation. That's why they clench their fist and jaws to release all the tension built in their muscles. Even if they like to go to concerts, they decline the invitation at the very last minute. Because when the time comes, their nervous energy starts escalating, which ultimately drains all the energy. Number 9. People pleaser. Imagine saying yes to everything. Even if you hate it, you still keep doing it. How frustrated would you become doing something against your will? That's exactly what this anxiety makes you do. There's a constant fear in your mind. The fear of rejection. And it's so big that it works against your will. In fact, you find it perfectly normal to fulfill others' wishes, to keep others happy, but end up suppressing your own feelings. This attitude can easily overload you, and you won't even come to know. You always feel the need to please others, because rejecting them makes you feel guilty. You constantly need other people's approval to make sure that you are going in the right direction. This is a bad sign, as it lowers your self-esteem. And the worst part is, when you want someone's help, you are afraid to ask them, as you don't want to burden others with your own problems. Number 10. Hide your emotions. Those who put on a happy face aren't necessarily happy. They try to fake their emotions or hide their feelings as much as possible. Who knows what goes on in their mind or what they are going through? They feel that sharing feelings is for the weak-minded, and thus put on a tough exterior. Or don't like nagging others with their troubles. Basically, they avoid making a scene, because that attracts people's attention. And it's quite natural. No one likes exposing their vulnerabilities. Sometimes, people even try to use those feelings against you, lowering your self-esteem. Although it's important to protect yourself, it's not always a healthy option. You might go into depression, because those emotions overpower your inner self. You must seek help when it's necessary. I hope that this video provided a ton of value. If you like this video, do give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you next time.